Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Candidly with Coffee.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It is New Year's Day observed.
Yes.
On Monday, January 2nd.
Yep. Pablo's birthday, too. 1 year old. My Frenchie.
Oh my gosh, he's one.
He's one.
I didn't even remember that.
I did.
How cute.
Yeah. 1 year
So
old.
he's 1/2/22. 1/2/22
Yes.
he was born.
Yep.
And Phoebe was born 6/2/22.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I can't believe he's one. Well, cheers to
Cheers.
2023. Here we are. Here we go.
Here we go. Blast off, you guys. Let's get it. 2023 is here.
All right. So I was talking to my cousin about, and I've talked to you about it before too. New Year's has always not been my favorite.
Yep.
And I always get anxiety.
You
like
do.
I feel anxious on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I hate the feeling. And I looked it up. It's a known thing.
Is it?
New Year's anxiety is a thing. It's kind of like a culmination of things, different causes, but it has to do with you're extra busy in the month of December.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of adrenaline pumped up.
Yes.
And then there's that weird lull between Christmas and New Year's.
Yep.
Where your schedule is kind of thrown off.
Yes.
You have all this built up adrenaline, but now there's really kind of nothing to do. Not really. It's different, right?
Yep.
Then that accompanied with all of the things that occurred throughout the year, it kind of starts to process in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then the icing on the cake is the unknown for the next year.
I understand. I feel it.
And that's...
I get that a little bit too. You're right.
I definitely feel that.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Like, damn. It's just it's Sunday, but mentally you start thinking like...
Yeah, just what does this year have?
store for us.
I know where mine comes from. I don't know if it comes from all those other things I just listed. Specifically for me, it always comes from what does this year have in store? Because I know every year holds good and bad.
Yes.
And like, ugh, what's the bad going to be?
I know.
You know, because like I had New Year's anxiety in 2021 also, right? On New Year's Eve 2021 going into 2022. And man, I didn't realize all the things that would happen in 2022.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it scares me because especially going into the new year with a dad who's ill.
Yeah.
That's like, damn, here
It's
it
a hard
goes
pill
again.
to swallow.
So that's what causes it for me, but it's not just that. It's like worse than ever, I think, this year. But what causes it for me is the unknown of what the year has to hold. Now, I looked into like what can you do to make it better, to ease it up. I already do all those things. It's like set good realistic goals, have some structure,
Yes.
do self-care, and I know all those things help because the feeling that I have makes you not want to do any of those things. It makes me not want to.
Your body's like in fight or flight right now.
Yeah.
It's flight mode. Right
I
now,
don't want to do anything. I don't want to get ready. I didn't even want to put makeup on today. Like, I forced myself to take a shower, put a little makeup on, get some sweats on, get out of pajamas. So I spent all day yesterday in pajamas.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
but yesterday, to be fair, we had gallons of water coming down. The whole Bay was on flood alert.
Yeah,
Bad.
for
Like,
sure.
if I wanted to go see my family in San Francisco yesterday, it wasn't going to happen.
No, I mean, I was happy. I'm not
Yeah.
disappointed with what I did.
Yeah,
because
it was
I
chill.
enjoyed that. But it also has to do with I just wouldn't have been able to do anything else.
Yeah.
But I also know that for me, alcohol on New Year's Eve is not a good idea because it does intensify the anxiety, the New Year's Day anxiety.
Yeah. Alcohol definitely can do that.
Yeah, so, yeah, I didn't drink anything. Not even a sip of champagne. Actually, I went to sleep before. I lied. It was after 9, so it was after the ball dropped in New York.
Yes.
But it was not before the ball dropped here in...
No.
I was out cold.
I made it past midnight somehow. I don't know how, but I made it.
Yeah, so anyways, I'm going to do all the things that I know I need to do to make me feel better. And that's clean and organized. So I kind of like, I swept and mopped this floor before. Yes. And I just wanted to clean. I made the bed. I just did all kinds of things that I didn't feel like doing. But as soon as I did them, I felt better.
Yeah.
I started to feel better. And I know I need to go get a little grocery shopping done, plan my meals out for the week. All that stuff has to happen, especially because I do have goals. I set some goals. So I'll share a couple just for here. I'm not going to share all my goals, but I did set some specific goals. I want to improve my dry try time for Orange Theory. That was like a challenge I did in Orange Theory. I think I did it. Was it in? I think it was in August. Yes, it was in August. And I think there's another. The next one is in March.
Yeah.
So I did it in 57 minutes 57 minutes and 44 seconds. I want to improve that time. So I don't have a specific time. Anything better than that. So that's my specific outcome goal for March.
Yes.
And in order to do that, I need to improve my 5K. So in January specifically, I want to establish what's my current base 5K run and improve upon it in January. So that's my goal for January.
That's crazy that you're running a 5K.
Yeah.
That's what, 3 miles?
And yeah, it's 3.2 miles, but that's after you've done a ton of other stuff. 2,000 meter row and then like 300 reps of body weight exercises.
You would have been running.
I know.
You hated it when I was doing it.
I know. So that's that specific goal. And then my other specific goal is by the end of the year, I want to be averaging 10,000 steps a day, or not really necessarily 10,000 steps every day, because it's not feasible for me sometimes because I'm doing lifting weights and things like that. I don't have that much time. But it is at least like where I hit 10,000 steps more often than I don't. Mm-hmm. And awesome. So...
Get out and walk.
Yeah, so for January, my specific goal on that is to 10,000 step days per week. So to plug it in my calendar, extra walking time on top of my workout. So I'm going to try that this week. I have 2 days plugged in of walking time to get the 10,000 steps.
Get it in.
So that's January. And then my end of year fitness goal is to have my body fat in the teens, so below 20%.
Wow.
So in order to do that, I have to cut. And so I'm starting a cut. My official cut starts this week. I've been easing into it with some calorie deficit days, but maintenance days also. So now I'll have more deficit days than maintenance days. And I will also be aiming for higher protein because I want to make sure I don't lose muscle during this cut. I'm going to bump up my protein a little bit, and that's my fitness related goals. Very specific with some January intentions there, and then I'll evaluate as I go. Yeah. But for January right now, it's calorie controlled Saturdays, so a cheat day that has to be a little more calorie controlled. Calorie deficit, higher protein, walking days, and that's it. That's kind of like where I'm at.
Good for you.
For my fitness goals. I have a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So now I'm accountable. I've shared it.
You heard it here, folks.
Hold
her accountable.
Be accountable. Gosh, I don't know what it is. Charles has been like really needy lately. Usually he's okay with just being next to me. Lately he like wants to be in my lap.
Needy dog.
He's over here in my lap. Do you have any goals? Have you thought about it? Are you going to set some specific goals and SMART goals?
Yeah. Finish reading the book that I'm on right now, 48 Laws of Power. Finish the other book that I'm reading. Yeah. Getting my fitness game up.
Yep. Yeah, we have a lot of business goals too. Lots of things coming.
My own short-term goal is just keep getting pushing my body, my limits. Like see how hard I can keep going. You know what I mean? Like I like pushing myself.
It's general though. Do you have a specific way to determine how are you going to do that? What I'm going to
incorporate to get my cardiovascular up is I'm going to do a sprints.
I already know you're just not vocalizing it, but you're doing it. The specific you wanted to up your fitness game, which is kind of general.
Yeah.
But on a specific way, you started incorporating more gym days.
Yes.
And not just your fight training cardio days.
Yes.
You now go to the gym, and did you set a specific goal in your head on how many days you want to make it to City Sports?
At least 3.
See, so you have them. You're just
that's minimum.
You just don't.
Minimum.
You
that's
just
minimum.
Don't.
I have to hit that 3 times a week minimum.
And there it is. There's your goal. It's there. You just didn't realize it's there. You don't know how to vocalize it. But I've seen, because I know that you made that comment that you're going to start doing that. And then I noticed that you started doing that. And then you thought, I'm going to do it in the mornings because you see me leave to work out. You're like, I'm going to go work out too.
You want to get up earlier too. Yeah, why not? Knock it out. Rev up the metabolism.
Yeah.
So you know what also has been helping me though, like getting up and wide awake and bushy-tailed is them cold showers in the morning. I'm going on weight too.
Yeah. I'm impressed with that. Whenever I get into the shower and the water's not as hot and scalding as I like it yet, and I have to all the way turn off the cold, I think about you going, I don't know how he does that. Like, I honestly don't know.
Well, my next goal to conquer is I found a company. I think they're called Ice Barrel. And it's a barrel, you fill up with water.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just the barrel with the step or if it's the temperature connected, but yeah, I want to do that. I want to sink my whole body into ice bath.
Yeah, and then you
2 to 3 minutes a day does wonders. You do something like, I forgot the study I was reading. You do 11 minutes a week of that, and it changes your life mentally, your whole body. It just changes a lot of things. It does a lot of good things.
It's a plunge, a nice plunge.
Yes.
And you know what I want?
Mm-hmm.
So I have some materialistic goals. I want a new treadmill because I want to be able to get on a treadmill with a nice big screen. I want a new treadmill.
Yeah.
And we don't have a treadmill actually. We have a tread climber, and we have a bike, but we don't have a treadmill. I want a treadmill.
Yeah.
And eventually I would like a infrared sauna.
Mm.
Like you can buy them on Amazon. They're these like little room things.
Yeah.
And I'd like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to sit in the sauna.
You know what all this is? What we're doing, we're talking about, not realizing? This is we're investing into ourselves. We got to go through the suck of things in life to make this vessel that we're in better. You have to. Does the cold shower hurt? Of course it does. I sit there and stare at it like, oh, here we go. But just do it. Because I know, it's not going to kill me. It's going to hurt, but that's pain is temporary. I'm acclimating to it. It's not as bad as it was when I first did it.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I heard about the sauna? I was listening to a podcast, and they said it's the best thing you can do. You slather on your like skincare, even like body skincare and your serums and all of that. And then you go into the sauna. And when you come out, a dry sauna, when you come out, you don't feel any of the creams and stuff on your skin surface. It absorbs into your body.
I need to get into my skincare game too. My face. They got it for men.
Of course.
We got to take care of ourselves. I got to up my game.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what's on the agenda for that. And I'd also like to get on a business side, which before the end of the year, I want to invest in a in-body, the good upgraded for business, commercial use in-body scale, where I can have local clients come and do their evaluations.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. It's always a good thing to have that,
Yeah, the data. I love data.
Exactly, data.
Data is
the data don't lie.
The best.
Yep.
So anyways, our little hot coffee segment of the day. Cheers to me for the hot coffee. Thank you for my coffee, by the way.
You're welcome.
Is this a pod or like a regular coffee, not espresso,
Regular
right?
coffee.
Okay. We binge watched that show that we talked about last week, Love for the Ages.
Yeah.
And it's just to recap if you didn't catch that episode, Love for the Ages is a reality show on Peacock that Mike and I were heavily recruited for and decided to not do it. But the show has made it to air. We binge watched it. It was 8 episodes. Last week I said I thought like it was going to be really raunchy or whatever. I take that back. It actually wasn't very raunchy. I think they used the raunchiest clips in the previews as places typically do. I didn't think it was very raunchy at all.
Nah.
But I do think it was good.
Yeah. It was a good show.
I thought it was really good. And I have to say, I'm going to eat crow a little bit because I talked a lot of crap about the casting agent saying that she was trying to mislead us or whatever. I have to admit, I thought they were going to set us up worse. Like, it wasn't like Temptation Island where they showed the partner's clips from the house and they cut it at the worst part and made it look bad.
So it leaves your significant other wondering.
Yeah, like I don't feel like they
thoughts.
were conniving in that way to set couples up for failure. I really don't think so. It didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
It didn't feel malicious in that way, which I liked that. But I have to say though, I feel like I have a theory on I think that the one couple we really liked, so Mike and Maria, they were together for 20 years, or almost 20, married for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I truly feel that they were really in a crossroads in the relationship. Like, that was very real.
Yeah.
There was another couple on there, Sylvia. And if you want to watch the show, spoiler alert, and you don't want to get a spoiler, just fast forward the next 5 minutes or so. So you don't get, because I'm going to give you a spoiler. But the other couple, Sylvia and Sebastian, I feel like they came on the show like we would have come on the show. They weren't really at a crossroads. I mean, yeah, I feel like they have a history. Early in their relationship, they had problems. But I don't feel like they were in a current crossroads.
No?
Nope. I feel like they went on the show and they gave each other real specific rules and they thought, let's just go get exposure for our business. They have a fitness business. They have a fitness like a certain type of fitness business. Because I noticed a few times when he was working out with the singles girls, they had this contraption on. And then when of course I stopped social media. I went into their social media and I noticed that's their business. This contraption thing. And notice how they had very specific rules. And he goes, oh no, I can't break. We have specific rules that we set.
Yes.
And I feel like it was like a storyline thing where she kept saying, oh, I like to be the fantasy of just being around younger guys. I felt like that was a little bit of a storyline-ish thing that they decided on.
Yeah.
And she was going to be flirty and he was going to be very, like, stay in his lane on his side. I think that was decided on. Mm-hmm. And I think that the crew knew, and I think that Adrian knew, they called the bullshit. Yeah. And that's why they kicked him off.
Yep.
They thought, you know what? It's obvious. We can't, like, continue to pretend this isn't obvious, and you guys got to go home. Like, you're not here for really changing your marriage.
Yeah. Nope.
Don't you feel that way? That's how I think. I feel like they kind of got called out.
Now looking back at it, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You know.
And I think we probably would have got stuck in that rut because we weren't really at a crossroads. We would have had to pretend we were at a crossroads.
Yeah.
Because we even told her that, though. We're not at a crossroads.
And she kept trying to convince me as a salesperson.
Oh, I know, but they're going to have counselors. It's going to improve your marriage.
Yeah. And she said, if you guys are solid, you'll be all right.
Yeah. I mean, she's right. I feel like we would have been fine. You know? Yeah. I don't worry now that after I watch the show at all.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we might have come across like this other couple a little bit. But the one couple, I actually DM'd her because I was just like, hey, the Maria and Mike, I DM'd her. And I told her, like, hey, we almost did this show, but I got cold feet. And I was just congratulating them. I think they made the show, honestly. If they were not on the show, it would have been a flop.
Yeah.
Because the other couple, they had issues or whatever, too. The third couple, but they weren't as exciting, I don't think. I think Michael and Maria were exciting. And she said that's interesting because we did actually hear there were supposed to be 5 couples, and then there was only 3. Mm. She goes, you must have been 4. There's got to be another couple out there that backed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was really nice. Very, her and her husband still together. Look like they're doing good.
That's good.
But it was a good show. What do you think?
Yeah, it was interesting, to see how things played out. And for them, I feel like it strengthened their marriage. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they were an interesting, they were at a true crossroads because they were together since they were kids. And that's hard. That's really hard.
16 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is. I don't know what that's like.
Now the other couple, the husband had like a long-term affair. They were together 14 years, but he had a years-long affair in between in that marriage. Mm-hmm. Do you think that it is possible to recover from infidelity?
Every person's different. Some people yes, some people no. Some people can't get past it. Some people can move past it.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. It can't. What works for you or not, or other people don't. Everybody works differently. Some people can't get past it. Some people can. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say never say never.
No.
I don't think that. But what does sadden me is I feel like once there is infidelity, that magic or that sanctity is gone, and that can't be recovered. But I do think it's possible to stay married and like get past it.
Yeah.
I do feel it just depends on the circumstances of the situation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Depends how solid you guys are. Has it been an ongoing thing?
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil her, but the person he was having an affair with was no bueno either.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah,
Sneaky.
she was married also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a long-term thing. Yikes. I don't know. But the other couple, the one that I said they weren't there at a crossroads, they early in their relationship had infidelity too. But I just still feel like they just weren't at the point in time that they joined this show. They were not at a crossroads, I don't feel. I feel like they were solid.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like it was a little bit of a storyline and they wanted exposure, you know? And I'm not faulting them at all, because if we would have said yes to the show, that would be the reason why, and we would have also had rules.
Of course.
Don't you think?
Yep.
But man, the singles still. Oh,
I would have went like this. Shots up, and I ain't falling for that trap.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get me wasted and put me in a vulnerable position. No way. No. One thing about being older is I'm sharper in this older years. I ain't falling for no traps.
Yeah.
I know all the traps.
Yeah, like there was this one part where they asked them to take off their wedding rings or whatever, and they did. They all took their wedding rings off for the producers or whatever. But then the one husband, Michael, he had extra rings, like gym rings or whatever. So he put a ring back on. But then one of the singles saw it back on, and she made him give it to her. And I just thought, no.
Yeah, no.
You're going to get so much in trouble for that later when your wife sees like this. You know, as much as I think, like, I feel like they did a good job and they were good at the end of it. But they are still going to watch the show, and they're going to have arguments over several scenes. Yes. You're going to have to argue through some of the stuff, and that was one of the things for 100%. Sure that he was going to be in trouble.
How would you feel if you saw
I'd have been pissed. And she stuck it in her bra, and then she brought it out again when she used it as ammunition to make his wife look stupid. I would have been furious.
See, that's why I know not to do that shit. No man should be giving.
But I don't think you would have given your ring. I don't think you would have been that. I just don't think so. I think you would have been, because you don't like to be told what to do anyway.
I'm not persuaded that easily either.
Yeah. I just don't feel like you. I think you would have been an asshole about it.
Probably. I told her, leave me alone already. Stop asking me for my ring. Who is you?
Oh, but you would have made good TV, I think.
Huh?
I just picture you going, sweetheart, sweetheart, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah, pipe down, puppy dog. Pipe down.
Oh, but I'm sure there would be moments we'd have to argue through when we watched it.
Probably.
Don't you think?
You gotta somewhat play into it. Or you're gonna look obvious, like, what, this dude's in the corner?
No.
Doesn't want to engage with nobody?
I wouldn't have said, no.
Yeah, you gotta talk, engage, but hands off.
But I do feel like that's what that guy did. He kind of was, because remember I said, God, it's episode 3 and they have hardly shown Sebastian. Mm-hmm. And there's only 3 couples.
Yeah.
Why are they not showing him? I think that's why they were already struggling getting a story out of them.
Yeah.
Because you got to understand, a lot of this, it's production. The producers are trying to move
TV's
story.
Not real life. They
reality
storylines.
Yeah, I know a lot about like the behind the scenes of reality. They have to like move stories forward. They probably told that girl, the single, they knew on the other side that Maria was really upset about having to give up her ring. So they probably told that girl, the single, Natalie, to go in there and ask him for his ring. The producer probably fed her that, like, hey, you know, they're producing them.
Of course.
Like, hey, go in there and ask him for his ring. For sure. It's not all, like, it's definitely...
We've known about that. Producers try to push the envelope with people on TV and try to do things.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, okay, so now let's talk about everybody else's goals and how they're going to make it happen or whatever. The most important thing for making your goals happen in 2023 is, what do you think? What do you think is like really important?
Making your goals?
Yeah.
Write them down.
Yeah, writing them down.
Write them down.
That's number 1, I would say.
Uh-huh.
to actually have actual goals.
Yes.
That you write down.
Yes.
And then the accountability.
Accountability.
You have to have, don't try to reach goals and skip over the accountability factor of it.
Never get there.
Like even the other thing that we're working on right now, secretly, not so secretly, but kind of, the fact that we're both doing it.
Yeah.
There's that's accountability.
It's true.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Because I think it'd be really easy to skip it for a few days or get behind, and if you're doing it all by yourself.
2 day turns into 3, for sure.
So if we know this, what can people do to help with accountability besides a program? I'm not just trying to say, oh my God, you got to buy a program. That's not what I'm getting at right now.
Yeah.
I feel like find somebody, find a buddy, like an accountability buddy.
Not a yes or yes, ma'am.
No, find someone. And if you have an Apple Watch, did you know you can share your rings with people?
No.
So you can like set your rings, like your goals, and then you can share the rings with people so that you can be like, hey, I'm going to share my rings with you, make sure, and I'm going to try to close my rings 5 times this week or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's accountability. You can have have like a side bets or something.
Yeah.
Make side bets. It'd be great if it could be your significant other, but unfortunately it can't always be. Because sometimes the significant other's like, oh, hell no, don't push me into that. I'm not interested.
Yeah, right. It's true.
Yeah. But on that token, though, even if they're not on the journey with you, if they love you, they should still support you.
Facts.
So
Big
I
facts.
challenge you to ask them for support. Say, look, I know you're not currently doing this right now, but I am. Yes. These are my goals, and I need you to support my goals.
Yep.
So don't come home with donuts if you know that I can't have donuts today. And don't try to entice me to have donuts.
Yeah. Don't
you know
test my willpower.
Yeah, don't do that. Instead, support me. Come home with a treat, a calorie-friendly treat, or support me in other ways. But don't try to sabotage, because I feel like sometimes for whatever reason, significant others think it's funny to like sabotage.
Yeah, they do. I believe that.
So even if your significant other isn't going to partake, in your journey, maybe if they do, that's the best. If you could do it together.
Of course.
And listen, it doesn't mean they need to be on a weight loss journey. They don't have to, they might not have to lose weight or want to lose weight, but who shouldn't be on a health journey?
Right?
Everybody should be on a health journey of some sort.
We would need to put their health before everything. And listen, I'll break it down to you. Most people want wealth. We all want big pockets, big bank accounts. Of course, wealth equals freedom. You're able to do things in life, enjoy life. But without your health, forget about it. None of that means nothing. You could be wealthy as hell. Doesn't matter. If your health ain't there, guess what? Doesn't matter. You need your health, and it needs to be prioritized. You guys need to prioritize. Put yourself first. Stop putting everything else first. Put yourself first. Invest in yourself. Because you're the most important person. You need to remember that. You need to be healthy and strong for your family, yourself. Keep your mental health strong, too. Yeah,
I mean, what did you say when Steve Jobs died? Remember? You were like, man.
Dude, poor guy. He had regrets at the end. Because, listen, I don't know. I don't want to speak on it, what kind of cancer he had.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I just know that's what he succumbed to. And there's no guarantee he would have beat it if he did chemo. But he tried to go holistic. And towards the end, he said he had regrets like, damn, why didn't I just do chemo instead? Maybe I could have beat this thing and prolonged my life.
Yeah.
But it's too late. He waited till too long, too late at the end.
Ooh, yeah. He had pancreatic.
Pretty much. I mean, you catch it early on.
No, pancreatic cancer is like a 90. It's like.
Okay, so.
It's not. I don't think there's a cure for it, really.
Okay, so maybe.
He was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. Highly aggressive and rapidly fatal.
Wow.
Ugh. That's sad. Oh, man, that's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, but what did you say? Not to say that he had any control over that, because I'm not saying that all... No. But there are... Most chronic conditions and diseases are preventable.
Yes.
The most fatal ones, the ones that are killing us statistically, the ones we're dying from the most statistically, are preventable with healthy lifestyle interventions early in life.
Yeah. And I know people, you need it. You need it. I don't care if you're tired of it. I don't care if it bothers you. I don't care if you're sick of hearing it. You need it in this life. Straight up. There's no other way around it. Don't kid yourself. You need to be healthy. Mm-hmm. If not, then go to the doctor. Go get prescriptions. Go wait till your end of days come. But while you're here, guess what? If you're healthy, you feel good, you're going to radiate that energy to the rest of your friends, family. They're going to see that. Mm-hmm. You know, you're going to be in a positive mindset. That's what you want. Why wouldn't you want that? I don't understand why people would want that feeling. I feel bad that they're missing out on this feeling.
Me too, and it just makes me so sad because, like, why not? Why? What stops you from pursuing the best version of yourself?
Right? Like, when I'm in the gym, I watch people, I look at working out, and everybody just looks like they're in their zone, like happy place, like they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Like, and I keep telling people, the medicine is not at the doctor's office. The medicine's in the gym. And I don't necessarily mean you have to be indoors in the gym. You could do bodyweight workouts outdoors. You could walk. You could run. The medicine is in your fitness. That's it. There's no secret. It's in your fitness. Don't overeat, and make sure you stay on top of your fitness. Mm-hmm. You can prevent so many things in life.
So many things. So there's a bunch that you can't.
Yep, we know that.
But you put yourself in a really good position to fight off the things that you can't control. Because look, I'm sitting here and I know for a fact I am someone that has to like outrun cancer a little bit.
And I'm someone who has to outrun high blood
right,
pressure.
You know
and look
that.
at me.
You know
I'm in a healthy weight for a 38-year-old man.
Cousin who passed away from a stroke
at 40,
in her 40s.
40 years old.
You have a dad who had a stroke early in life, not as an elderly man when he had it.
In his 50s.
In his 50s.
Almost took him out.
So that's what you know. And you know you have hypertension, who's someone who's super healthy, not overweight, good BMI, but the doctor says it's hereditary, not diet-induced hypertension. So, and I know that now I've had 2 times where I've had cancer cells in my body. Or I had pre-cancer cells in my pre-cancer in my colon, but I had cancer cells in my cervix that they had to remove. They did a pulpectomy or whatever 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But had I not caught that and removed those cells, you know, so that's that. And then now the colon. So I have to be careful. I have to be on top of it. I have to have all my checks. But I have in my head, this is how I deal with the anxiety. I think if I do get something, I'm going to fight it.
Yes.
And I'm going to be on top of it. I'm going to figure it out as early as possible. Yep. And I'm going to put myself in the best position health-wise to be able to fight the good fight.
Yes.
If I need to.
Yes.
And so that's how I think about it.
You're making your body strong.
Right.
And a lot of people don't think about it. They get sick, their body's already weak.
Right.
They're not in any kind of physical fitness shape. So guess what? The chances of them beating are very low.
Yeah, you're not going in with all your armor.
You're not.
You know? I feel like my dad has always been on top of he never let his weight get too out of control, and he's always gone to his checkups and been on top of things. And I feel that had he not, you know, he didn't have a lot of health conditions or problems going into this illness, he wouldn't be alive now. He would have never survived that surgery.
No.
They wouldn't have even done the surgery.
Nope.
We have a friend of ours who said a lot of times that's really invasive surgery for someone in their 80s.
Yes.
They have to be in a really good shape to have that surgery. A lot of surgeons don't want, you know, a death on their record. True. So they're not going to operate if they don't feel like the person's going to survive the surgery a lot of times.
Yeah.
Got to remember, a lot of that time it's business and stats and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So he was in a position where he was able to have that surgery because he took care of himself otherwise.
Yes. He was pretty active, walked around the neighborhood. He moved his
He
body.
was never, my dad was not a decrepit 80-year-old man.
No, he was still building things, repairing things. I mean,
just
fixed our gate. It didn't even,
Just last year.
He didn't know how to slow down. And I think that's what's probably, you know, tough on him. This is slowing him down.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. Poor guy.
It's hard, but I don't feel like he would have made it this far had he not had a, you know, strong vessel.
Body. Yeah, he has a strong vessel.
He does. He does. So that's the thing. So even though we can't control a lot of things, but here's the thing. You can control a lot of things, though.
You can.
For all the things you can't control, there's tenfold things you can. There are a lot of things that are killing us that are controllable. The high, what's that? The cardiovascular disease is the highest.
The highest.
It's the highest cause of death.
Yep.
In
yes,
America.
It is.
And it's preventable.
Very preventable, you guys. It's crazy. Like you can literally just keep your weight down and don't have, and prevent that.
So here's the thing. What stops people then? What I feel like does, and it's like a barrier, a roadblock, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Is because I feel like maybe things crept up while they're still young. And when you're young and gaining weight, you still feel this feeling of invincibility. You don't have that panic that death is near.
True.
You don't even think about your health, really. You don't think about, you go to the tanning bed, you do all these things that could cause this, could cause that, because it feels so far away that you don't worry about it yet, like death.
Yes.
But then as you get older, you start to, you make more conscious decisions, but people when they're young, if they just gained weight slowly over time, and just every year added on some more layers, and then when you do start to think like, oh my God, my health, now you feel like you have a big mountain to climb.
Yep. And
it feels overwhelming.
Yes. And I think people don't know how to get started.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, getting started. They're lost. And it's important, you guys, if you're lost, reach out to a professional. Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
You spend all this money on useless stuff. Let's be honest. A lot of us throughout years have bought stuff that we didn't need. Useless. Putting money into yourself ain't useless. It's not a waste. You got to invest in yourself. That's what someone told me a while back. Someone's like, yeah, I have a trainer, and he's teaching me this and teaching me that. I go, that's great. He goes, and he's pricey, but he goes, it's investing into myself, he said. I go,
yeah.
He goes, you got to bet on yourself. Who else are you going to invest in? Yourself. You got to.
I've had so many people say, oh, you do Orange Theory? It's so expensive.
See, right there. Boom. That's so expensive. Now let's break down how many times a week you eat out. How much you spend in makeup. I'm just referring to women now. And other useless stuff you might buy. Clothes you don't need.
The average trip to Starbucks, $10.
$10.
Some people go every day or at least 5 days a week.
Yes. Start adding that
That's
up.
Orange Theory.
That's Orange Theory right there. See? So, what do you guys? Orange Theory or Starbucks?
Right. Make your coffee at home and go.
That's it.
But that's the problem.
You have to
And
sacrifice
if somebody
a little.
says that Orange Theory is too expensive, then I'm like, ooh, you have the wrong mindset.
Yep.
There's a
Wrong
lot of
mindset.
other things you could have pointed out
Yes.
that are expensive. Like,
Yes.
oh, you go to Starbucks, that's so expensive. Never hear someone say that.
No.
They never say that. They go, ooh, Starbucks, let's go to Starbucks.
A breakfast sandwich and a drink, $10 right there. $11.
Probably more.
Yeah.
Well,
They've gotten expensive.
yeah, real expensive. So, yeah, I think that it feels overwhelming. It feels like a huge mountain to climb. I think the best way to think about that is how can you break that down so it's not overwhelming?
Yeah.
Don't try to climb a mountain. Try to break it way down. Just try to climb a couple feet at a time.
Yep.
And think, okay, how can I make some steps forward?
How's your cardiovascular system? How far can you walk? Ask yourself that. Okay, start with that. I can walk a quarter mile right now in my car.
Right.
Okay, start with that. Keep doing that every day. Before you know it, it's nothing. Then you're half a mile. Then you're a mile. Then you're 2 miles. Then you're 3 miles. That's how I trained my French bulldog, Pablo. He's a puppy. I walk him quarter mile, half a mile.
Imagine if you would have taken him out on the first walk and walked him 3 miles.
Probably gave him a heart attack.
Yeah. And now it's nothing.
No, he handles it like a champ.
That's how you do it.
I built him
That's
up.
how you do it.
He's a French bulldog. You gotta understand, most of those dogs are not built for long distance. Majority of people tell me out there, you're crazy. He walks it just fine. He's not.
He does. I've never even seen him look overexerted.
No, I built him up. I'm just giving an example how you get started, how you get moving. Set
true.
Goals.
Start small. You know what's interesting? Okay, because I have a program, so it's Jay's Body Boot Camp, where I give everybody all the tools they need for weight loss. But I kind of get, you get kind of everything, and then they kind of. It's a self-service program, so it's not one-on-one necessarily, although I'm there to support them, but it's affordable. So they kind of have the tools, and then I try to guide them on how to use those tools as a group, right? But truly, if you're struggling, if you have a mountain in front of you, and then you get access to this program, the program's going to feel like a mountain. It's going to feel like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. What do I do? I have to do all these things in order to be successful. No. That's why, like, I always tell people, like, if you feel like that, if you're not, like, in this self-paced place where you can kind of decipher how you need to start or whatever, book into a coaching call. Because in a coaching call, I can tell you this, usually you'd think these clients call me thinking I'm going to tell them all the things they need to do in the program, and I kind of just, I don't focus on the program. I'm like, look, the program is there.
Yeah.
When you're ready to work the program, you can, but that's not why you book this call. You book this call because you don't know where to start.
Yes.
So you're not going to start with the program. We're going to talk, and I'm going to figure out where you need to start. And it's usually really simple. Like, I'll say, like, oh, okay, so you don't walk at all? Let's try walking, 5,000 steps a day.
Yes.
Let's work on that this month. And let's try eating under 2,000 calories a day this month, consistently, for the next few weeks. Once you're able to do that consistently, let's get back together and we'll layer onto that. That's what I do when clients, when they book into calls. It's usually that they're overwhelmed. They already have access to the program and they're still having a hard time getting started. That's because they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So we need to scale up all the way back, saying, look, I know these are your macros and these are going to be great, but you're not even ready for these yet. Because you can't even get your volume of food under control.
Yeah.
How do you think you're going to be able to cut your volume in half for some people, monitor protein, work out 5 days a week, do all these things when you haven't even been able to scale back on volume? You're trying to climb a mountain before putting your shoes on.
True.
And I think that's the biggest problem, because what happens? People get overwhelmed and they shut down. I can't do it.
Yeah. Because again, what's the difference between you and them? Mindset.
Yeah.
It all starts in the mind, right?
That's it. Because I put myself in that position, though. I do. I think about, like, the things that went through my head when I felt like I had a huge mountain. And I thought I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I'm beyond the point of no return. I have a lot of weight to lose.
Yeah.
I'm over 200 pounds.
How did you feel? Can you go back?
I felt panicked.
You did?
I felt panicked, like I can't do it. So I feel it. I feel what people feel. Like, I feel that.
Do you ever have that, and not to, like, degrade women or nothing, like, they say when you're big like that or that heavy, like, you have this fear of, like, fat girl fear inside of you still, that person. You see that person in the mirror? Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like,
yeah.
you're in shape now, but do you ever see that other person?
It's kind of a form of body dysmorphia. Yeah. I think it lives within you forever.
Okay.
A little bit of fear that one day you're going to let go of the reins and not be able to grab them back again. There's a little bit of that fear. I don't think... Okay. But I think a little bit of that fear is good.
Yes. Keeps you in check, right?
Yeah.
That's what fighters say, too. It's funny. When you step in the cage... Yeah. You're like, you feel tough and you feel aggressive, but there's also that bit of fear because you're going up against another trained killer. But it keeps you sharp. So, but that being said, fear should keep your defenses sharp, your senses sharp. Like, this guy's trying to take my head off. Hands up at all times.
Well, exactly. So it's kind of like, I think, like, I am not arrogant to think that I could never go back there.
Yeah. Me too. I don't want to get back there. I've been there too. It's not. It's an ugly feeling.
And I just think, though, of how I felt. Like, I felt overwhelming. And I just didn't even know where to begin. And it made me hold off on starting for a while. Like, I would, and then for a while I would start and stop and start and stop. And just, but what helped? What really helped me was breaking down into little tiny goals and feeling like I was accomplishing something. Little wins, celebrating the little wins along the way. Like, I started to be like, oh, I had a little bit of progress. Like, I see it different. Like, as soon as I could start to see a little bit of progress, it motivated me to keep going.
Yes, true.
So you have to set those little goals, because when I was 205 pounds, before I changed that mindset, and I would step on the scale and it'd be 204 pounds. I'm like, oh my God, I'm still over 200 pounds. I would focus on that instead of focusing on, hey, I lost a pound. I'm on the right track.
Yes.
It wasn't until...
The needle's moving.
Yeah. And even though it was slow.
Yes.
At first.
Yes.
But once I started to see what I was doing was working, I did more. Do more of what's working.
Facts.
And let go of what's not working.
Yes, true. Get rid of it. Exactly. Get rid of it. You don't need it. What's not working, throw it out.
Yeah. And then you identify where you keep... If you have to keep starting over, try to identify what is the point in which you keep starting over. What is happening there, and try to do something different. Don't try to keep starting the same thing and repeat and just keep, like, what do you always say? Trying to do the same thing over and over again?
Insanity.
Definition of insanity.
Thinking
You
you're
have
gonna get
to
different
figure
results.
out, why do I keep doing this? Why is it that every Saturday I lose my shit and go crazy or whatever? Try something different. Be like, this isn't working. 6 days of a calorie deficit going into the weekend, going into a Saturday, has me like an untamed animal. Change it up.
Mm-hmm.
Do 3-day calorie deficit, 1-day maintenance. 3-day calorie deficit, 1-day maintenance. Switch it up so you don't go in. Just try something different. See if that works.
Mm-hmm.
If like, that's better. I wasn't so ravenous when I came upon Saturday.
Yes.
I didn't feel so deprived.
Yep.
So cool. That works for you. It might not work for everybody, but I'm just saying, stop trying. If you find that you keep having to start over because you keep making the same mistake, stop for a second and think, what can I try that's different so I can see if something else might work, because this obviously is not working.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things I talk through with clients too, because I'll ask them, where's your problem? What's your biggest pain point? What's your biggest barrier to reaching your goals? Or if it's a brand new client, I'll ask them, why didn't you reach your goals last time you set these? What happened?
Yeah, you got to identify that and fix that and work on that.
Yeah.
Write it down so you know where you're falling short.
Yeah.
Because everybody has those barriers.
Exactly.
Everybody. I don't care. The most disciplined people, too, at one point in time, have done the start, stop. You know what I mean? Everybody. Till we figured it out.
Yeah.
It works.
And it's normal. Like, I'm not saying it's not, your journey is not going to be linear. It kind of goes up and down, and you have good days, bad days.
That's life. What did you just say? Good days, bad days.
Yeah.
That's life. You're gonna have a lot of great days, but there's gonna be some bad days. And okay, you have a bad day, lift yourself back up, pick yourself up. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're human. You'll be all right.
But remember, you got to break it down. So don't try to climb the mountain.
No.
Try to climb a little tiny hill at first.
Yes.
And get your shoes on first.
Yes.
You get the right shoes.
Yes. Exactly.
Then go for it. And if you have never worked out before, start with walking. Walking is the most underrated tool for fat loss and health. It's low impact.
Mm-hmm.
It gets you burn calories. Yep. It doesn't break down your body.
And women, you need that little bouncier step where you're stimulating your bones too.
Yeah, for the
osteoporosis.
Yeah.
It's important.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot when I'm out walking, Pablo. I see a lot of older women out walking. Like they're out walking, they're getting it, and I'm like thinking to myself, it's cold, freezing, but they're out here walking. There's no excuse for me not to be out here walking.
Yeah. Robert's grandmother in Idaho, I don't know how old she is now. She's got to be almost 90.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Robert's my ex-husband, by the way, but as long as I've known her, she has been highly active, taking spin class and exercising and walking and hiking. She's still active, yes. See? And she's very youthful. She was a very youthful grandmother. I remember thinking, wow, she is amazing.
She stayed.
She stayed active.
Yep.
If I got to think about it, if she's probably, say she's 90 right now. She's got to be at least 90. If she's 90, then what's 25 years? So she was 65. So 65 when I was going to Idaho. At 65 years old, she was taking spin class every day. And hiking, we would hike Tubbs Hill in Coeur d'Alene. Those of you who know Coeur d'Alene. We would hike Tubbs Hill every time we went there with her. And she was taking a spin class 5 days a week. Up at 5 a.m., 65 years old, cutting fresh fruit, baking bread.
And look, my mother succumbed at 65 years old. I lost my mother. See the difference?
Mm-hmm. She was obese with diabetes.
See the difference? See the difference between
and this
grandma?
Woman,
activity, healthy activity, pushing her body. Not saying, I'm 65, I can't do this. You got to stop living in yourself, you guys. Man.
I know. I agree. People limit themselves.
Yeah, okay. I'll make an example. You, for instance, you have tapped into an inner beast you never knew you had. Now that you joined Orange Theory, you're pushing yourself way harder. It's crazy because you didn't train like this when you were younger. You're older now, but you're training harder.
Yeah.
Ain't that weird? Usually when you're older, you're like, I'm getting weaker. I'm going to scale back, but you're pushing harder.
I know. It has to do with setting goals.
That's it.
Setting goals.
Mindset
I'm like,
too,
okay, I hit that. I achieved that. Now on to the next thing.
Yeah.
On to the next thing. On to the next thing.
Challenge yourself. That's what you're doing. You're challenging yourself.
Yeah,
if people don't challenge themselves enough.
If I go into every year like, well, I'm going to work out, I lift weights 3 times a week and do this, but with no goals, then it's aimless. It's like you spin your wheels.
Yes.
Like I have goals. When you're working towards something, it's more strategic. So my goals this year, reduce body fat. I didn't have a reduce body fat goal last year. I just kind of wanted to cruise and maintain.
Yeah.
And live in maintenance and enjoy that.
Yes.
For a while. But this year I have a reduced body fat goal. And I know that because I ate a lot of calories throughout the year and I was really focused on my workouts, that I will reveal a lot more muscle this year.
Yeah.
When I do that cut. So I'm glad I took a break. And I'm sure my body will be very receptive to a cut because that's why it's like, it's not really, I want to accomplish it within this year, but not at the end of the year. When I say that, I want to reduce body fat in 2023, it's just within this year I'm going to do it. It's not going to take me a year.
No.
So it's going to, just like a SMART goal has to be something you can reevaluate and adjust accordingly. Yeah. So I will readjust once I get to where I want to get. I'll readjust where I'm going.
Yeah.
But you have to know where you're going or else you won't accomplish anything. No. You'll just drive in a circle.
Yeah. Or you'll get lost. You'll take a trail and you don't know where you're at. You'll get lost.
Right.
You're just like stuck in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So. It's I don't know. It's not a hard concept. I don't know. I guess it is kind of like a pain in the ass, though, to sit down. Here's the problem. This is what I think most people do. I'm guilty of this. I think you're guilty of this. Is you'll have goals. You'll have things in your head. Yes, I'm going to accomplish this. And when you're in that right mindset, maybe you're like driving and you're thinking about all the things you want to accomplish. It's going through your head. But you never stop and write it down. I think that's where a lot of people fall short.
Big time. You're not lying. You are so right about that. Mm-hmm. It's important. I'm going to work on doing that. Even if you bust out your phone, writing your notes.
Yeah, open your notepad. Private. Keep it private if you want. You know what I mean? Share what you want, but keep it private. But it goes, it spins in your head. But here's the thing. It'll go through your head when you're feeling good. You're feeling motivated. You're going to have all these things. But then there's going to be days where you're feeling down. And you're going to just kind of like not feel motivated or whatever. And if you hadn't wrote it down, you're going to be like, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. Where am I going? Yeah. And you just feel down. That's normal. We have bad mental health days. Facts. And it'll be harder to get yourself back on the right frequency, on the right path of positive thinking if you didn't write it down. Because now you're not in the right headspace. So you don't remember all those amazing things you want to accomplish. You're not thinking that way anymore because now you're Debbie Downer. And so then until you get back into that headspace, you're not even going to know what you're doing. Now, if you had written it down, it'll help get you back into the right headspace a lot faster.
It's crazy. I'm going to reiterate on what you just said. It's almost like you're in your own prison in your head when you're Debbie Downer. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of people always look for other Debbie Downers because misery loves company. Yes. Don't get caught in that, you guys. Don't let no one bring you down. If you're operating on a high frequency, my advice to you, careful with people who operate on low frequency. Or try to motivate them. Bring them up slowly to your frequency, you know?
Yeah, you can, but it's easier to fall down a frequency than it is to climb up to one. So you got to protect your mental health.
Your energy.
I have to do that a lot these days, I'm not going to lie. Yes. You know, I go to my dad sometimes and he's not in the right headspace and man, it's really hard for me to stay on a high frequency. I find myself kind of like, ugh.
Isn't it crazy how people could drain your energy? Mm-hmm. They could drain your frequency.
And he feels bad about it. So it's like he knows it and he feels bad. Like, oh, you come here and I just say I'm only negative. You know, he knows it and I feel bad, but it's hard. It's hard to stay on that higher, like you said, on that higher frequency when you have to deal with that. Yeah,
and we all have it inside of us. Everybody has that inner beast. Going back to your ex-husband's grandmother, She's 65. She's operating on a high
When
frequency.
she was 65,
When she was
yeah.
65. Anyways, her frequency and her mindset, she was a beast. Nothing could stop her. And we all have that inside of us. You just got to channel that. You got to unlock it. I promise you it's there. Nobody's special. Everybody has that beast. But you got to unlock it. That's the only way.
Yeah.
You have to believe. You have to tell yourself in the mirror every day, where's that beast at? Unlock it. Let it out. Don't be afraid. I'm telling you, it's there. We all have it. Look at you. Like I said, you've unlocked your inner beast. Took it to another level.
Yeah, so think about the things that are, what are your tools that are going to help you get back into the right headspace when you fall out of your groove? You know what I mean? And like I said, that's why I said writing it down helps.
Mm-hmm.
Little reminders, you got to have that, because it sucks when you fall out of the right headspace. It feels so good when you're just feeling good. And you know what I'm going to tell you? Honestly, you can fall in and out of those headspaces multiple times a day. I'm not talking about like one day's good, one day's bad, or 1 month's good, 1 month's bad.
Yeah.
1 minute is good, 1 minute is bad.
Yeah.
1 hour. You know, it's hour by hour. For me, it's hour by hour.
Yeah. It's weird.
Like in the morning, I'm all motivated, I'm this, I'm that, and it starts to decline a little bit.
Yeah.
Throughout the day.
Yeah, it does. But that's life, you know. What
Yeah.
are you gonna do?
Yeah, but you have to think of, have all the tools in your tool shed that help you get back on track. And
True.
what are those things? Well, writing down your why and your goals and having a visible place. Keeping your space clean and organized helps.
Yes.
Also,
Vision. Don't let go of that vision. Manifest your vision.
Yeah, also consuming good content. So, like, obviously, hopefully this podcast is motivating for people. But other podcasts, too, like Ed Milet and Tim Robbins and...
Yeah.
Do you listen to any motivational podcasts? Joe Rogan motivates you,
Yeah,
right?
some of his podcasts are different. It's different levels of podcasts he has. Some
Right.
are super motivating, some are very informational.
Yeah.
I like because they're very informational. If I want like a super motivating podcast, I don't know, I'd go to, what's this, Tony Robbins?
Oh, Tony Robbins.
He's good.
I
It's
love
all
his-
mindset. Because you know what? I learned about him. One thing I learned, I go, why has this guy become so damn successful? For speaking. That's all he does is talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what he does. He makes you believe in yourself. It tells the same thing we're saying, but in a different way. Like, you guys all have that inner beast. You got to unlock it. You got to unleash it. It's there. And he teaches people the mindset. Don't give up on business. Yeah, you fell down a few times. You didn't succeed, but so what? Keep on going. And fast forward, people will be like, man, you're right. I made it. I did it. Why? It's all mindset. It's all he's doing is just planting good things in your mind.
Yeah, I was listening, actually, speaking of that, he was on Ed Milet's podcast, Tim Robbins and Ed Milet. They're both very motivational.
Yeah.
And they were saying, like, you for people, it's kind of like hard. You have to break the chains of generational chains.
Yes.
And, like, there's one in every family that becomes the one who finally kind of, like, breaks the chains. And then going forward, those generations don't know, like, the poverty or being poor or whatever, because there's the one that breaks the chains.
Yes.
But it's very hard to be that person because your family is uncomfortable with it, especially for, like, entrepreneurs. They're uncomfortable with the fact that you don't punch a clock, and so they kind of, like, try to hold you back. People that are nervous by it, they hold you back, not in a negative way, there are people that hold you back because they're haters, but there's also people that hold you back out of fear and comfort because it's making them feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that's a lot of times with your healthy journey too.
Oh, yeah.
There is two types. So there's the people that are going to hold you back because they're not ready, or they don't feel like they can do it and they want to keep you down with them. But there's also going to be people that hold you back just because they're uncomfortable by it. They're just uncomfortable because they don't even, they can't, they kind of want to do it themselves. They don't know how to or whatever.
You know what, the one dig I hate? When people are on their health journey and they're showing results and they're shining and things are going their way and they're dropping pounds, is, you're getting too skinny.
Yeah.
Don't say that, you guys. Don't say that to people. They don't want to hear that.
No.
Because that's kind of a dig. Why you say, I'm getting too skinny? The whole point of me losing weight is to get skinnier. Yes, that's the goal.
Like,
purpose.
why is that a negative thing? It irritates me too that wanting to lose weight is seen in society by, like, all of this whole Big is Beautiful campaign or whatever. Seen in society as, like, politically incorrect.
we're like going backwards in life.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Like, that is not a negative thing. We
No.
know that obesity causes disease
Yes.
and death.
Don't fool yourself.
So it is
does.
not a negative thing
Yes.
to want to put myself into in a position where I am no longer obese.
Yes.
So that I can reduce a lot of health risks.
Yes.
So why is that seen as negative? That's a problem for me. That irritates me to no end.
Because there's a certain agenda right now. There's certain movements and certain groups feel uncomfortable.
And it's because they feel uncomfortable. And right now, people are starting to feel that way again, feel uncomfortable, because now the trend is going back to a more slender, the trends. You know, it's sad
Body
because
type trends.
unfortunately, body types are trendy.
Yes.
I'd like to say I don't follow any trends. I've just always been the type of person that I just want to be fit and athletic.
Yes.
Whether it's not trendy. My body type is actually not trendy right now. I'm seen as way too small, way too thin, way too petite.
Yes.
People want this whole voluptuous,
Yes.
look. I
Extra
didn't follow
huge
those
hips.
trends.
Yes.
You know, you shouldn't follow trends when it comes to bodies.
Never.
Don't do that.
No. What did we just see yesterday?
Unless it's health. Unless the trend is healthy, then
Yes.
follow that trend.
Yes. Yes. Health. You can't
Yeah.
go wrong with health.
Yeah, no.
But you start doing crazy ass stuff. Like you said, the trend's changing.
Yeah.
Now these women are scrambling to get these injections out of their butt, these smaller hips.
The
going backwards.
parentheses hips are going away now, and
The
they're
parentheses.
scrambling, and they're upset about it. Like, damn. Because this was easier to achieve. I just had to eat a lot and go get surgery, and I was good.
Yep.
It's easier to achieve. Now this new trend, because now, the Kardashians are like super skinny or whatever. It's like,
they're more
I'm like,
fitter now.
how about we just not follow trends when it comes to your body? Follow health markers. Let's worry
Right.
about that, because that's not going to change.
Yeah, that's like. Could you imagine me? Let's just say I was obsessed with The Rock and wanted to be big like him. Imagine me at 48. All of a sudden, I'm slamming testosterone, growth hormone, and I'm getting huge. That ain't good for my heart. I'm gonna make my heart explode. I'm gonna make my blood pressure give me a stroke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a trend. I don't follow those trends either. Like, I do my own thing. I want to be fit and healthy for me. Health.
Right.
That's it.
Because that's never going to go away.
Never.
Our science and our chemistry and the way our body works is never going to change in that one day it is going to be healthy to be 300 pounds.
Never.
It is never going to be healthy to be 300 pounds.
Humans were not designed
That's
to be
not
that
going
big.
to change.
Nope.
So that's not a trend. Reducing your body weight so that you're no longer obese and, improving your health markers that's not going to change the way
Nope.
that works.
So
it's not trendy.
So don't believe the hype. No one's saying big ain't beautiful. Listen, hey, to each his own. I don't knock them, but at the end of the day, you got to be realistic with yourself. Mm-hmm. Obesity is not healthy. I don't care how you want to slice it.
Right.
If you want to be that way, be that way. If that's the way you want to succumb the rest of your life to be. Hey, go have at it.
And you have to accept the fact that
Yes.
you will probably
you're going to inherit some
acquire
things.
a disease.
Yes. Be ready for that.
Will be somehow directly related to that, and
Yes.
that's what will lead to your death.
Yes. So whatever's in your
Accept
family
that.
history, probably you're going to get it. So for me, it's diabetes. I know if I get overweight real bad, out of control, that's lurking too. So I have two things that could possibly
blood
kill
pressure, or stroke, diabetes.
Stroke and diabetes.
Yeah.
So
You do. That's the window into what you might have to endure is what your parents.
Yes.
You have to look at your parents.
Look at
and
your parents. And your grandparents too.
Yeah. And
It's a family history for a
Yeah.
reason. Like you have the C in your family history. Lots of it, right?
lots of cancer.
Yeah, see?
All right, you guys. Well, hopefully this was motivating, not demotivating.
Yeah. No.
Remember.
Trying to keep it real with you guys,
Yeah, you can do it. Like you said, everybody has the beast within. You have to learn how to unlock it.
Everybody. Trust me.
You can unlock it. It is not too late. I don't care if you're listening to this and you are 65.
Cares.
It is not too late. If you are breathing and you are alive,
Yeah.
it is not too late.
No, it's not.
You can do things that is going to make a difference.
Might even shock your doctors when you do your blood markers in the future and they're like, wow, much
Exactly.
better.
Exactly. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.